Hello, everyone, and welcome to another horror review. Bit of a different one tonight. I was going to do this last night when I got back. However, in my defense, there was a bar, there were fellow nerds, and the tube got broken to my home. So by the time I got back, I was like, nah, bedtime for Colin, gotta get up for work. And today I have a wee bit of a fuzzy head, so I avoided work and just cleared out my office. I did something productive, but I wasn't in the mood for thinking, so I was like, yeah, I'm going to move books and stuff about and just bluff my day, which worked out in my favour. So it'll be early to bed tonight after this. I'm an old man. Can't go out every night like I used to. Do weird stuff. Can't kind of plan my moments. So what was this thing I went to? It just came about randomly. It was a Facebook ad. Now I don't know if it was in a group, possibly, but as you know, recently I've started getting back into Call of Cthulhu, playing games, doing unboxing videos, bringing people on board, and planning more games for the future. Starting to immerse myself back in the whole world again. So I think good old social media is like twigged on that I'm interested. So I was like, here's an event. So we have the London Lovecraft Festival. This thing is in its third year. So there you go. Didn't know anything about it. Yes, Chris. Let me put this in. I'll explain this and I'll put in perspective how my night went, which anyone that knows me won't be surprised in the slightest. But I didn't wake up on the beach and have to like scramble to get to work like 5 o'clock in the morning. So that's good. But ad online, had a look at it. Wasn't a spam thing. It was a real place. The Drayton Arms Theatre. So it's a it's a little venue, right? I think it's about 30-seater. Tiny venue. It's a small stage, so realistically, anything involving more than 5 or 6 actors would be pushing it with this place. So it's a really intimate venue, and I'm talking about you're making eye contact with the performers, type intimate. Great. So I went, bought my ticket. Do you know what? I didn't even realize it was Valentine's Day. That's how much of a spaced out and uninterested in stuff going on in the world. I hadn't even realized it was Valentine's night. Wasn't expecting it. I just like, oh right, I'll go to the pub, go after work. So I just headed straight there after work because timings, by the time I got home, commuted out and then tried to get back in again, the thing would be over. There were 2 plays on. So basically this is an entire week. It's still going on, by the way. I put the links below. So if you're in London, around the Kensington area, or if you can get down to Kensington, check it out. There's a whole list of events. So what they've done is they're just short plays. They're doing 2 plays a night. One at 7 and one at 9. Now, like I said, I only saw the Call of Cthulhu. I didn't realize this was the whole thing. I just saw the one thing. I thought it was a one-off. I didn't realize part of a week's event. But then I realized there was something on afterwards, and I'm like, I'm not going to push it. I'm going to be a good boy. I'll go watch this. I'll go home, maybe do a quick video, get my night's sleep. All be normal. Not to be. So I want to watch this. Call of Cthulhu, a cold case. So I'll just read the description. I did a wee bit on the description of the video anyway, but Lovecraft's classic Gothic horror tale is brought to life, imagined as a cold case investigation, examining the notes of the unfortunate nephew of the recently and mysteriously deceased Professor of Archaeology, and resulting in the narrator's sinister predictions of his own doom and that of mankind, and reveals the secrets and connections hidden within them. A fresh look at old material that draws you steadily into the mythos, as if pulled inwards by discordant drum beats, leaving one feeling polluted as though dunked into the foul brine of its alien blood. Well, that was a review by Ben in Edinburgh. So, Jason Buck, he's a professional storyteller. I put his link below as well. No, man, we didn't feel grimy. You're actually very entertaining and really appreciated it. Good performance. So, basically what he did was this is a one-person performance. So you had Jason. He's a professional storyteller. I'm hoping to get him on the show actually because I kind of tortured him a bit. He's like, "Who's this weirdo coming at me?" You know me. Plus, I was also bloody knackered as well, so I was like trying to like be all energetic, and I'm just like, oh god, I need to go to bed. Plus about 3 pints in me because that's about worked. So what he's done is all he has is a table and a little box, little shoe box, and what he's done basically is play it out as if he's an investigating officer or like doing a post mortem on events, and he splits it into 3 chapters. So for those that are familiar, obviously, I'm not going to teach people who know the book and know the material to suck eggs, but this is in the end, this is open channels to everybody. And for those of you who aren't familiar with H.P. Lovecraft or Call of Cthulhu, it's one of the classic horror tales. It's one of those ones, 1920s, and it's seen as like literally excellence. It's one of the cornerstones of science fiction, cosmic horror that a lot of stuff is influenced by today. There's no getting away from that. You gotta give H.P. Lovecraft his dues. He had trouble in the times, making it and being successful, because even now, like, people find the stuff out there. It's not a comfortable read. It's dreams of eldritch beings that millions of years older than we have ever imagined, and their dreams can destroy us in the waking moments. It's that sort of peel back the veil to another universe, and if you stare too long into the abyss, it's that old adage, the abyss stares back type thing. He's had a lot of crap recently. That's woke nonsense, people trying to cancel and rewrite history and destroy everything from the past to put lesser work. If work was good, now people wouldn't have to destroy someone else to get their stuff forward. But what they have to do is like tear everything down and replace it because shit, basically, and they dress it up with all the buzzwords and that, and it's really annoying. But I think people are starting to twig on now and reject these sort of idiots, and we can all go back to being nerds again and arguing about silly stuff while all being together. And that's my point about tonight. This was a live performance. I think we've all got too comfortable. Now, this is great, right? And for everyone watching on YouTube, and I think Facebook's behaving itself, so all you guys join me on Facebook as well. Thank you very much. This is great. We can connect. Technology is a useful tool. We can reach out. We can discuss ideas. You can join in the chat. Obviously, I've invited people onto the show. There's ways that we can transcend distance and time to connect as humanity. However, we cannot forget the importance of physicality and this world, the material world, the carnal world that we're in now. I think Lovecraft he brings out the fact that this material world is enticing to others. It's a tasty morsel. And to some beings, it's nothing. And we are insignificant in the whole schemes of the universe. So to us, our lives are precious. We're only here for the moment. We're a blip in the eye in the scheme, the whole scheme of the universe. And I think when you appreciate that, you appreciate life more. And that's, once again, why I don't want to say the word preach, because nobody needs that. But I advocate horror. Horror is the thing that looks into the uncomfortable places. And when you look into the uncomfortable places, you appreciate what you have. And life becomes more precious when faced with total annihilation. But here we are, small theatre, small group of people, actual live performance, somebody storytelling. And this is the beauty about imagination. This is why I'm an advocate for storytelling as well. That's why, always try to promote authors, get them involved with the show, not just with their stories, but actually get on here and talk and reach out and get people aware of them, because the world needs storytellers. Now, should storytellers be censored or like restricted? No. Should categories, so if you're going to read a horror novel or experience a horror story, that should give you an indicator that if you are kind of nervous, maybe don't go there. That should be enough. That's why we have genres and categories, because people know what they're comfortable with, and that's fine. And sometimes there's those that like to step outside their comfort zone, stretch themselves a bit. There's those that don't. That's all perfectly fine. But to have someone storytelling actually there in front of you, no props, like there's no shiny lights. It's all he had was a box, and if you he basically replicated the newspaper clippings, the he had a little figurine of Cthulhu, photographs, things that were found in the story, because the story split up into 3 chapters, and each tells a tale through the account of it's the professor's great nephew who basically becomes a ward of his estate. When the professor dies, he has a locked box, and then this is what starts the investigating, and that's what the Call of Cthulhu game is about. That's why it's different from other RPG games, because rather than just get in and combat and roll dice and beat monsters beat you, there's plenty of games for you to get that sort of thing, but this is a bit different, and I think it's important to know this story to get a full appreciation of why you're an investigator, because that's the way the story is told. In the actual book itself, it's an investigator story. It's the grand nephew of the professor trying to piece together what actually happened to his grand uncle and what his grand uncle discovered. Yeah, I think it's about what's it, about 20 meters or something. Yeah, I was going in, and I've noticed going to the cinema as well. The cinema is practically empty. People have just got out of the way of it, and it's a shame, because we're a pack animal, and some are more herd-like than pack-like, but we're a social creature. Yes, I'm a misanthrope. Most people I cannot be bothered with, and I make no bones about that. Anybody that meets me, if I don't like you, I don't like you. You kind of know within 10 seconds, But I'd rather, I'm not rude, but, if you're just somebody like soap opera, football watching, blah, 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 nothing really to say, what are you going to talk to me for? I'm a weirdo. I like meeting other weirdos. I don't even fit in with other weirdos, because I don't, there's some people I don't like stereotypical scenes. I don't like where everyone has to dress the same, act the same, talk the same. It boils, it boils down. 20 meters is about the breadth of a swimming pool. So probably up, or the length. Yeah, it's something about that anyway, but in fact, that's a bit much. About 3 meters. That's good. No, about the length. Yeah, about the length. 20, 25 meters, but the length was one pool. Where was it? Sorry. Tangent again. Yeah, coming together, hearing a storyteller, being around people. We need that. We do. And there's no point pretending that we don't. I know it's great to go, oh, I hate people, I want to live in the cabin in the woods alone. Yeah, that's fine, but we don't. We're a social species. Yes, there's some of us have less tolerance than others. Some folk can tolerate a wider range of individuals. That's fine. I'm a live and let live. Like, if you're doing no harm to me, you crack on. But the minute you get in my space, I've really no time for you. If you're doing something I don't like, I kind of walk on, let you get on with it. I just appreciate the same. That's I'm a simple creature like that. But for things, I guess, there's people all walks of life, all different. For that moment, you're together because you've got that common interest, and you're there for the goal. For that time, it's the same in music, movies, books. When you're a fan of something, not everybody's the same, and this is the problem with social media. Everyone's trying to be corralled, and if you're a fan of this, then you must be exactly like this sort of person, because that's the only people allowed to be fans of this, whatever it is, and that's wrong. It's actually quite sad, and people are putting more effort into that than actually, enjoying what's in front of them and finding what to do. But when you're out in public, there's no screen, there's no typing. You got to make eye contact. You're in physical range of someone. It's a completely different experience. And I think people have forgotten that, and we need to get back to it. We need a happy medium between this, which is great, and actually being part of the world. Because if we lose one shouldn't negate or trump the other, in my mind, because that's how you grow as a person. That's how you develop skills. That's how you connect with your fellow humans. That's where conversations, your ideas are challenged and put forward out there. And I don't mean in an antagonistic way. I just mean if 3 or 4 of us were to talk about the Call of Cthulhu story, some of us would get one thing from it, another would get something else. I'd have a perspective, somebody else would have a different one. Like Sunday, Adam Cameron and I would talk about Lord of Illusions. All 3 of us got something different from that one piece of material put out there. You can't do that if you're in a bubble where everyone has to agree with each other. And it's even more, that's why we do so well, is because obviously, as we said, we know each other in real life. So this is just a tool. But when we're hanging out and having a drink and making fun of each other and just having a laugh, it's completely different. It's enhanced experience. So this doesn't actually replace physicality and being out in the world. And I think tales like Call of Cthulhu really bring that home. It can just be swept away in a moment. Like your sanity, what you perceive the world to be, can be gone at the drain of another being more ancient than you, who you're nothing to. You're an ant. You're an ant to it. You're not even an ant because you can't even bite it. An ant can bite you and you can notice his presence, but these things, the old ones, great old ones, you wouldn't even register. So there you go. So like I'm saying, this is part of a whole week of material. So I wasn't going to go. I realized there was a saying. I could have bought a ticket for this, but I thought to myself, no, I'm going to behave. But of course, watched the show, and what Jason did was like I said, he split this into 3 parts. So what he did was he had a few props, and he brought it as if he was an investigative reporter or journalist or police detective, going over the events. And then he brought up each prop as the book, which is really cleverly done, because he even said himself, he could have just sat and read the book out and made it a narration. But he brought something more to it. He referred to parts of the book, he referred to chapters. He had a notebook with handwritten notes to represent Thurston's diary that he kept as he went through his own investigation. Even brought out like screenshots of Google Maps and calendars because he was plotting the events, and so he actually did a fair bit of research. So it wasn't if he just turned up, went off the cuff, and just went by rote. And that's storytelling, is when you do a bit of preparation and you want to bring that 3D, you want to bring that to life, the story. So that's what he did, and he did it very well. I had a really good time, I have to say. It was about an hour and a half. I'm just around about the hour 20, 25, so just nicely within the hour and a half, and it was just enough time. Same as watching a movie, just be there. The only thing was the seats were a wee bit cramped up, just the way it is. So the old legs are starting to go a bit. And plus, like I said, a couple of pints of me at that stage, so it was like starting to dance a wee bit towards the end. But needless to say, job experience. And what did I then afterwards? He invited us up to the front to have a look at the props ourselves, and that's one of the photographs I shared on a social media. I didn't want to take photographs of people without their permission, so I just took the table and those so nobody could be identified, and Jason himself in the background. So kind of just did that quickly, just to give you an idea of the space. That was it. So then I had a quick chat with him. He said he'd be downstairs in the bar afterwards, so you don't need to tell me twice. for a chat. And I came down, didn't Mr. was kind of standing by the bar because it got a wee bit busy. Because what it is, this is a pub, right? And flipping the scariest thing is it's flipping $6.95 a pint. Friggin' you're not having a night out without taking out his blue second mortgage. But it's a yuppie pub, it's craft beers, all that kind of stuff. So fair enough. It's not like your Weatherspoons. You just go, I'm a Weatherspoons guy. I just like simplicity. Want to go? There's people that are buying cocktails and stuff, and I'm like, okay, right, each their own. I'm a simple pints sort of bloke. So it's a good atmosphere. People they're waiting to go upstairs. Like I said, you go upstairs in the bar, the theater. It's all very well run, very polite. The manager, the person that runs the place, came around and because I thought there might have been knees available. I thought I was going to have to buy one, but she actually comes around and would you like a program? I'm like, oh yes, please. All very polite. And even in the bar, they ring the bell that let you know the show's about to start. So it's all tied in nicely. Nice, all very subtle, not over the top. And then everyone files up. In fact, I just went upstairs and I didn't realize that you're allowed to take drinks in with you. So I see everybody else coming up with pints. I'm like, this is civilized. I sort of shutting back down everyone to get another drink because I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna have another drink while I'm up here, may as well. That was one. So yeah, after the show, came down, met Jason, Ray, Simon, John. Oh God, there's a whole wee group, a wee table's worth of people. So we all sat around the table. None of us, I think one or two people have met each other before, but most of us just off the cuff, turned up. And that's where it's good to be a weirdo because other weirdos know their own and you instantly feel comfortable. It's like, yeah, none of us fit in anywhere else. This is great. And then we weird each other, we all got our little things. I was actually quite quiet, to be honest. Just I was tired. I was just trying to, I was more interested in listening. I like to listen and hear people talk as opposed to, when I'm on here, I'm gabbing away. Well, it'd be a bit of a shit show if I didn't. Me just wouldn't. But anyway, yeah, it was good. So got talking. Next thing I know, time went past. The other show, Reanimator, a bloody musical, was the next one at 9:00. People are heading up for it. We're still gassing away. And then next thing I know, that show's ended and people are coming back downstairs. I'm like, whoops. So I kind of knew the way the night was going. Still just behaving myself. But when you're talking absolute nonsense, you can go on and you find the right people and everyone's passionate about their things. And there's another couple, Ray and John. I want to get them on the show because they do a lot of conferences and they do LARPing events and role playing events and various things. And like I said, this is what I want to start doing. Is I want to reach out and meet local creators, get them on to talk about their projects. And I need to email Dick actually. Another filmmaker wants to come on talk about his project. Yeah, I need to get organized. My admin's been terrible this week. Do forgive me. I will get around to everybody. Trust me. I know we're getting things organized for the end of this month, beginning the next month. But yeah, I'll get on top of that. But don't go and spend nights in the pub randomly. But yeah, there you go. You got talking. And it turned out, because that's something I never realized. Somebody being a professional storyteller, you wouldn't think that was a thing in this day and age, but it is, and there's quite a few of these guys and girls about, and there's various events and they go to them, and it's not just horror. People have their own genres, but there's a resurgence because I've always had a concern that basically the physical world is dying out and being replaced by the digital. And I like digitality. I've always embraced technology from a young age. And it's funny because I'm now seeing a lot in work. People my age are completely technophobes. And I just don't get it. People younger than me as well. And it's just like, dude, this stuff's been around since the 80s and 90s. How are you not comfortable with this by now? But there you go, say la vie. But the other side of the spectrum is people are like just completely forgetting about the real world and hiding behind avatar. Not even doing this, but like hiding behind avatars and typing, which is no life. But it just gave me a reminder of the physical world and how great storytelling is when you've actually somebody there, and all it was a person standing on a stage with a table and a few pieces of paper. That's all I needed. And you capture the imagination because we're all there, we're all in the zone. And it wasn't like I said, any special effects or flashy lights or anything, just that storytelling. Great. I think we need to remember that because that's how you create. You have to go back to basics. But as a human species, that is what we have done from we've been in caves, is tell stories. And we've either chalked them on the cave walls, we've passed them down orally, or we've written them down. That's how we have inspired each other's imaginations for the next generation to get an idea in their head. And that's how we've moved forward as a species. The minute you take that away, the minute we lose that ability, we're stuffed. We'll just devolve. And what a waste. You know, I mean, we were hitting a cusp there, sort of 90s, really getting somewhere, and now we've like just went back, and I really don't know. All I can do is say and give a positive message out there and try to give scenarios of where it's good to reconnect again. What would be good to know, anyone out there who does performances in the physical world, if you've got small group theaters, even if I'm not near you, get in touch so we can talk about it. Because honestly, I wanna start getting people plugged out there. You know, I wanna make people aware that there's still community theater out there. There's still groups. You can go and meet people. It doesn't have to be online. Just online's a great tool to find out something, but the joy of going and meeting people that share the same interest as you, and you don't know what connections you'll make. I hadn't planned to make connections that night. That wasn't. I just wanted to go see a play off the cuff. I was almost thinking like going to the cinema, if that makes sense. That was my mentality when I booked the ticket. I thought I'm going to go busy watch a movie and then disappear afterwards, head back. But it wasn't that experience at all. So you do not know where life will take you, but you have to step out your front door. You have to switch the device off, and you have to engage with the world. It's so important, and don't ever lose that. Honestly, it's a fantastic aspect of being alive. Of course, you're going to get it. It's of course, the tube broke down on the way back, and that just reminded me of all the nonsense we've had with strikes and everything else, and the negativity just brought back for a moment, but didn't ruin the night. You know, just when I got home a bit later and a bit tired of the day. But hey, so be it. I'll survive. What else I want to talk about? Let's yeah. So there's tonight, obviously. What's after 10 will be over now. There was Pods of Hoth, Shroud of Charon. Tomorrow night, the Atrocities at Arkham. Oh, that's on a couple of times. Oh, I might do that on Friday. Right, so the Atrocities at Arkham's on Friday. Traveler's Gate in the Obelisk in Middle Ocean. Yep, Revenant as well. It's on 9 p.m. Friday. And then Saturday and Sunday are a few different things. Sunday, obviously, I'm on Adam's channel. We're playing Army of Darkness, so unfortunately, I'll not be able to do that. Well, not unfortunately, I'm hanging out with my mates and we're having a bit of a laugh playing a role-playing game. So, when you've made commitments, you're hanging out with your mates, you know, this will always come around again. That's the thing. But the more you can get a chance to support events, I guess, the more chance there are they'll happen again, and then things will grow. So yeah, I got talking with Jason, and I'll probably I got some swag, me, had to happen. So yeah, like I said, I've put links to his Facebook and stuff, so you can check it out there. He's also an author, so I actually managed to get a couple of books. So what I'm going to do is maybe I'll have a read through these myself. So you've got the Succubus's. Oh, shit. I actually had coordination. Succubus's Wine Cellar, Ragged Miser. So each one's a theme. This one he did with his sister. So is there a wee description? Collection of original folk and urban horror stories and poems. So bit of an eclectic mix. This bunch of stories basically themed around COVIDs. So crows, ravens, you know. So what we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 stories, you know. And then we've got stories from the woods and wild places. So forward limb, yeah. So a couple of short stories. That's similar to what I do. If you've not to be all narcissistic and that, but if you've seen Interview with the Ringmaster and Tales of Horror Madness, you know, my collection of short stories, circus themed, and I do my bit of poetry, Surviving the Herd, you know, same sort of thing. Not trying to be New York Times bestseller, but sometimes it's just nice to get your ideas on the physical medium and put it out there. Like I said, any time spent creating and putting something out in the universe is not wasted. So what I'll do is I'll read and I'll reach out to Jason. I want to get him on the show. Might feature one of these stories if he'll allow me to, if he doesn't think I'll butcher his work. Maybe feature one of the short stories in Horrific Tales. If he is amenable to that, I'll ask. And there we go. So I suggest, if you're in London, by the way, folks, if you are in sort of London area and there's an event and you want to have a chat and meet up, I haven't done previous podcasts. I used to do interviews, not live, you know, and I haven't bothered this time with it, you know, get the lavalier mics and the camera and stuff out in tripod. I wouldn't mind doing that again if it was the right. I did a lot of it in America. Because there are a lot of guys had a lot of fun. Now, especially things like the Halloween and Summer Festival, I was there every year, and obviously interviewing some of my good friends and usually beer involved because it's me. So I've done some interviews where at the end I'm kind of gibbering about going blah 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 blah, but it's all part of the fun. But I wouldn't mind finding any sort of local events like this going on, bringing camera and stuff down. We'll chat and put it out, either do an off the cuff live stream there, or I'll just pre-record it and edit it later. You know, I wouldn't mind getting back on that again. And I love bringing people on, having a chat. And it's funny how people are reticent to come on, and then when they do, they've actually had a good time. Because I'm not trying to trip people up or ask tricky questions. I just want to, you know, have a conversation and share with you guys that, you know, people's creative endeavors and just shoot the shit. You know, that's what it's all about at the end of the day. Yeah, so there you go. There's my review. Hope you enjoyed it. Check out the Drayton Arms Hotel, Drayton Arms Theatre. If you're able to go. If you can't, at least hit them a like, you know, and show them a bit of love. Say you heard about them from me, and you know you like what they do. That helps any endeavor immensely. Just giving a thumbs up, a heart, whatever, you know, whatever the platform is, and just leave them a comment saying you appreciate what they do. It means the world. And you know, thanks to you, Chris. Thanks for being here, and everyone else who's on Facebook as well. Don't think the chat doesn't go up the same way. Facebook's being naughty recently. It's not bringing up the same the chat and stuff in the same way. But I appreciate everyone who turns up and watches these. I hope I'm giving you something a little bit different, and not just get into the usual stereotypical pop culture stuff. You know, I want to try and shine a light in different things. But there you go. There's my review. Hope you enjoyed it. Let me know what you think in the comments. Do you like the idea of theatre background? I know it's people have a funny thing about theatre, but if you experience it, you know, why not? We'll go and watch theatre on big screens. So why not with actual people in front of you? And right back down to basics, stage plays. That's where all fiction, you know, a lot of fiction came from, and there wouldn't be TV or movies if it wasn't for theatre. So you don't have to be a snob either. Nobody was there in tuxedos. I suppose I should bring that up. This is a theatre above a pub, and I just went in my work clothes, as in, jeans, t-shirt, my fleece. I wasn't dressed up in the slightest. There's one or two folks there just, wore a shirt or something, but generally people are just there as is, normal. So maybe there's a bit of perception about going to the theatre. You have to be dressed in nines now. Don't go looking trampy. Adam Cameron and I, when we went to see Utah Philharmonic Orchestra doing the Star Wars movies, you're going to an orchestra and there's people turning up in shorts and flip-flops. It's like, dude, there's a wee bit of a happy medium. Cameron always went in costume because he's awesome. Flip's sake, fun times. But yeah, you don't have to be like top hat and tails and all that kind of stuff to go to the theatre. Just be yourself, be respectful. There's one idiot who came in late and started on one of the bar staff, and then put a complaint about it. I was like, dude, you're the one flipping messed about. There was nothing, what were you starting for? But you get that everywhere. But that was one person out of 30. So, and they didn't really get anywhere because we all went and told the bar staff, that guy's talking a load of nonsense. So that was quashed. It's easy to deal with things. Just put people in their place. But yeah, don't be afraid. There's nothing to be afraid of. And do you know what? If you don't enjoy yourself, well, you're not. At least you tried it. I suppose that's for a lot of things in life. But there you go. Once again, sorry, I'm starting to waffle now. getting tired. But thanks again for tuning in. Keep up to date with the channel. Quite a few things. Tomorrow night, I'm going to be looking at reviewing Pray for the Devil after I watch it. So it might be a wee bit late to the stream to get back. But I'm going to watch that tomorrow. Give you my initial reaction because finally I'm able to rent it at a decent price. Another horrific tale this Friday. Saturday, I don't know. Sunday, I'm on Adam's channel. And then we've got the Horrific Talkspot with Steve Knight as one of our authors is turning up as a guest star. So we're going to pick apart the Omen series. We're talking about Let the Right One In. Dale, Andy, and myself doing that following week. So we've plenty on this month. Keep up to date with the channel. Make sure you click the bell and all the notifications. As I say, do the typey clicky things. And until next time, folks, keep it creepy, keep it horrific.